You going to get home after your exhibition and watch the Clemson game?
Yeah, because we had the game at noon on Saturday for that reason, because it's Parents' Weekend, so they're doing a thing at Saturday night in McCamish for the parents to come watch the game in the big screen.
Speaking of parents, how's your folks' house? What happened?
Gone in Houston. They're living in Atlanta now. It's going to take a year for them to get for they live in an apartment complex that got totally wiped out, gone. Cars gone, and they had a little place in Florida, gone. So,
seriously?
Yeah, they had a place in Florida and an apartment in Florida.
In Miami area?
North of Miami, more in the Delray Beach area. They had a little apartment place there and a little place in Houston.
So we should get them out of Atlanta.
I know. That's what. And then when they came to Atlanta, they had the storm coming from Florida on up, but both places got wiped out. Believe it or not, both places got wiped out. So, and the one in Houston, now the one in Florida they had flood insurance, but the one in Houston, they didn't have flood because it wasn't a flood zone. But if you said when you walked in the house and you showed me the pictures, like the refrigerator was upside down. I mean, it looked like 10 people came in and just burglarized the whole place, but it was just the power of the water.
So you have some personal relationship to what you're playing for on Saturday.
Absolutely. I mean, it's I have friends and people I know in Houston who I grew up there that their house got wiped away, and I mean, I'm thinking of some people that you work your whole life to have a home, and then it gets taken out. And then secondly, people who are not as fortunate financially, they get wiped out. And where are you going for the next 18 months? I mean, and it's just when I tell you, you can't even get a rent-a-car in Houston or a hotel right now because FEMA's got it all.
Yeah.
I mean,
like New Orleans.
Because everyone's in hotels or the rent-a-cars.
Now, are your folks, are they living with you now, or they got
a little place up in Atlanta now? It's interesting even when they're dealing with FEMA, and stuff. But they decided just to come up. They're obviously empty nesters and they're able to be mobile. So they came up to Atlanta because they don't really have anywhere to go right now. So that was their spot right now.
Yeah.
So until Houston gets rebuilt.
So you got Dad looking over your shoulder now all the time.
Yeah, no, he's pretty good. He stays hands off on it, but he's good to bounce things off of. I talk to him multiple times a day. I talk to him and my wife probably 20 times a day. So that's majority of my calls. Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of part of the deal.
Yeah. No, he didn't have any solutions. I mean, I don't know who has solutions. I don't know what the solutions are. I mean, I just think that, again, and let me preface this saying that the people that are, these guys are friends of mine, and I hate to see this for their families and them. It's obviously there's going to be consequences because but I do think there's a. If you're paying a player or there's academic, you're breaking the rule. I don't think anyone thought you're breaking the law, but you're going in, you're breaking the rule. That's a severe no-no in college basketball or in college athletics. And so the solution is, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know the solution.
Does it start somewhere around summer basketball?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's all starts on summer. Everyone talks about summer basketball. I don't know. I don't believe that if you just eliminate summer basketball, that there's not going to be people not involved in these young men's life. What happens? Think of the money in the NBA. Guys who average 7 points a game are getting $60 million contracts. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I don't think it's just going to be just because you say, okay, eliminate summer basketball, there's not going to be issues. I just think it's going to be, do you let the guys go out of high school? That's the solution. Let them go out of high school to the pros. I know I've heard people talk about the baseball model, about letting them have advisors or agents. Like, maybe that's do that. I don't think paying the players. I don't think that's. I mean, we give them as much as you can. Again, we're talking everything about paying, but 99.999% are never playing in the NBA. They need the college degree. They're getting free food, free tutoring, free health care, free this. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Cost of attendance. It's just that the 0.00001% that are good enough to play in the NBA. maybe I don't know, maybe do something for them. But other than that, that's what I'm saying. Let them, I don't know what to.
You have to make them all.
I don't think you should. If a guy should come into school, I just think you should let him go out of high school. And then but I don't think you should have to stay 3 years. I don't think that's good either. I think it just when someone's ready to go pro, let them go pro. Whether it's high school or college. And if a guy after freshman year comes in and he wasn't ready out of high school and he ends up having unbelievable freshman year to leave, let him because he really doesn't want to be there the second year then. Let those guys just go. And I used to be saying don't pay the players. I'm still for that. However, I've sometimes said might be not if we pay them. Okay, if they're late to practice instead of running, we just fine them. I mean, honestly, it might be just less. You don't show up to something. You just hey. That's what the NBA does. You just fine them. And if somebody gets in trouble, take it out of their paycheck. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's the thought process, but I mean,
That's kind of the point. I'm trying to call you professional model.
well, but I just think it's. But everyone talks about the amateurism. We're talking back when it started in the early 1900s to we're in 2017. There's going to be changes, and the changes have been great. I still think we can keep it amateurism. We have to evolve with the amateurism, and I think TV and the conferences and it is what it is. I would go back to 99.9%. I think without college, I wouldn't be the head coach at Georgia Tech. I got an opportunity to be at Arizona. I was never going to be good, but because of my college experience and the opportunities that college gave me, I'm the head coach at Georgia Tech. I could go about other guys with other opportunities in other fields of life because of the opportunities that they got in college. So I think we put so much emphasis on guys on the 0.001% who are good enough to play in the NBA that the other 99 the perks and the opportunities and the doors that you open is far outweighs any other a general student. I mean, it's not even in the same comparison. And I think we got to take that into consideration in a good way that the doors that open for these young student athletes.
So how do you clean it up then?
I mean, clean it up. I'm a solution guy, so I don't have all the solutions on it. I do think you should let guys go out of high school. Don't have the baseball model, and if they come to college, they got to stay 3 years. Just if a guy's out of high school or comes to college for a year and has a great, let him go pro. I think the second thing is I don't think shutting down summer basketball is a good solution. I just think there's got to be more, I think now, after what happened with the FBI, if someone's willing to do those things now, God bless you, I guess. If you don't have any fear now of not doing those things after you just getting nailed by the FBI, if the FBI coming in, I don't know what would scare you, if that makes sense.
So you think coaches will walk away from the case guys?
I would hope so, and they should, and people should. And listen, is there cheating going on in the game? There's stuff going on. Of course there is, but is it fair? I mean, no, but that's just it's part of it. You deal with it. There's rules, and if someone's willing to break the rules, you put more rules in, they're going to still break. They're going to find ways to break the rules, and so. I just think it's a thing of but on the other hand, the fans and the people want to win too. That's why people break the rules, because they're trying to get a competitive advantage to try to, in recruiting to get a win, and so it just, I don't think there's any exact solution other than a couple of things I said, but I don't think we need to make it a bigger issue other than thinking that the majority of student athletes, 99.9%, need college. The perks they get, the opportunities, the doors it's nothing like a general, any of your sons or daughters, if they could get the opportunities they get, you would sign up for it in a second for the scholarship opportunity with all the opportunities they get. And this just happened to be, this FBI thing just came out of nowhere, and if this doesn't put the profession kind of on their heels and saying, let's be real careful about what you do, I don't know what would scare you then. I don't know, you're not, if you're it's not scared to lose your freedom, I don't know what would be, what would scare you. I don't know.
So we have to have kids just play barefooted now. They can't have shoes.
No, it's just no. Like people say, well, get the shoe companies out of the grass. I don't believe in that either. That's not reality. it's just not reality, and it's not truthful. And like, if we didn't have the grassroots in there, I mean, think what the shoe companies are great for colleges. Think of the gear that we're getting and all the good things. Again, there might have been some things here and there, and I think now with the FBI, what happened, it should put everyone on a back foot. But remember, that is such a major. I mean, you're not. This isn't involved in an NCAA deal. This is beyond that. I mean, it's totally on a separate deal. I mean, so there's always going to be minor stuff with the NCAA because there's some complex rules. But that stuff, everybody knows going in. You can't have academic fraud. You can't be paying players. I mean, those are pretty. And then but if you're doing that knowingly, you're crossing the line. Is my point. You're not sitting there watching the pickup game. In the summertime where you say, well, you're peeking through the window or some great. This is. You just know that you're doing wrong. But that doesn't mean that makes them a bad person. It just means they know if you're paying a player, you have academic fraud. You're crossing the line, and it's just that is obviously there's consequences. I don't think anyone who was doing that has done that is ever thinking they were going to that there was an FBI, there was a federal law. I'm sure they knew they were breaking NCAA rules. They were living on the grade. They were really past the grade, but nothing against the law. And that's where I think the entire college basketball got punched. And we're like, wait a second, where did this come from? And I think that's going to be put everyone on their heels. We had a conference call a week ago for all 351 Division I coaches at the NABC. I mean, they've got a committee now with, Dr. Rice, Condoleezza Rice running it, and they've got all these. So what will happen to them, I don't know, but they've never had that before. A mandatory conference call with every head coach on an NABC. So we'll see how it all shakes up. But the guy that should be answering in this, and I say this with all due respect, are guys like Coach K, Coach Williams, Coach Bay. I mean, those guys are in the Hall of Fame. They've seen it all. I mean, they've got the most power of anyone to get change. They've got the platform, and especially Coach K. There's no one probably more powerful. I think he and Coach Calipari are the two most powerful guys in the game. And they have the most power to make a change verbally, and in a good way because of the respect they have nationally through the media, too, fans and media.
So how you feel about it if a player comes out early or come from high school? Should they be able to come back to college if they don't get drafted? Or
no, I don't think so. Once you declare, I think, and you've passed the deadlines of the NBA and the NCAA, I think you've lost your eligibility.
You think they should come back at all? Or?
I don't think they should come back. I think if they make a decision to go in, they're going full throttle in. That's where I think you're getting difference in amateurism and this and that. I just think once they're in and they said they're in after the deadline, so they have the time period to determine if they should get all the information back. By then, they know if they want to stay or not. I mean, if they elect to stay in the draft and the people have told them you're not going to get drafted, but they elect to stay in, I think that's just a decision you make.
One question not involved in this on Lammers. You going to get him some rest this year?
I've said that Ben Lammers, I'm going to get him some rest, but I haven't played a countable game, and I don't know when I start playing countable games if it becomes such a possession by possession. I need to give him some more rest. Last year I didn't give him enough rest. I just didn't have anyone to get him rest for, but I'm hoping this year I can find some opportunities to do that. However, I say that, and I could say, man, we got to find a way to win. I got to let him play 40 minutes. I'll rest him in practice the next day.
He wears his exertion more than anyone I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, he just turns red.
Yeah, no. He's even when I yell at him, he turns red. He doesn't respond any other way if I turn red.
I think he flushed a couple times when we were asking him questions.
Yeah.
But
he's a true mechanical engineer.
Is he a nerd in a basketball player's body?
In a very good way. Yeah. He's very, very just introverted. Just he plays Jenga on the road. Like he plays Jenga on the road. I mean that's what he does in the nighttime. Like he's playing Jenga. If you ask him about his project that he's building for this mechanical engineer, it's surreal. He's talking about these things about this ultrasound and bridges to find out.
He's explaining that to us.
If you and I talked to him. It's the best way. The most I've ever talked to him. Most words I've ever got from him has nothing been about basketball, girlfriend, family. It's been about his project on what he's developing on this way to determine if a bridge needs to be rebuilt before it breaks by this ultrasound that they can look into the future. I mean, it's way above my head, you know. But you need people like that in this world. You need people that can come up with those ideas, and he can.
Last year you talked about, a lot of people didn't know he'd win any game. You talked about that. This year the expectations are a little different.
Too high.
But do you still feel like,
I was told that we were going to win 20 games my first 2 years total. So, we won 21 last year, so I'm okay to go deep. 0-40 this year, I guess. But no, I don't know. I mean, we what I would say is, there's going to be higher expectations just based on the year we have, but our margin of error hasn't changed because our reliability on our main 3 guys returning, they have to produce and they have to stay healthy, knock on wood, and because we don't have a lot of other guys on manufacturing points right now when we get stuck in half-court situations, and that's things that can be, basketball a lot of times can be a half-court game, and so, we're still in a building process. There's just no denying it. But listen, I'd rather have the expectations than that means you're moving in the right direction in a sense.
do you think the league is a little more jumbled in the middle than it maybe even has been the last couple of years?
Last year was so good, top to bottom. I think this year, to your point, I think probably, maybe not even jumbled in the middle. I think it's probably more jumbled from, maybe Duke right now is here, and, maybe 2 or 3 other, teams, maybe 4 teams are way there, and then everyone else, probably like 5 through 15 is, it's a crapshoot. That's really what I think it is. It's not even just the middle, it's the end to about 5 through 15. It's just going to kind of be, anything can happen.
Yeah, bottom 2/3 are all. It's going to be
A team like us could finish 15th or finish 5th.
Yeah.
4th or 5th. And it could be, and that could be anyone in that. I think there's about 4, maybe 5, really 4 teams who are going to probably finish in the top 4 or 5 just based on their talent level.
Could you imagine a situation where David
Well, I took over for John Calipari, so in a different situation, he left to Kentucky. So I always say it was the hardest job. I had the hardest job in the country, and it was the hardest. It was like replacing John Wooden in a sense of that time period. He had the most wins in the history of college basketball 4-year period. So you're just trying to survive. His is a little different because he's taking over in the October. He doesn't, it's a 1 year, it's an interim. I mean, I don't know what they're going to have, but I will say this: I think David's really sharp. I think he's going to do a great job. They have good players. I think they're going to be good. And the thing that's replacing Coach Pitino, I mean, he's one of the very best to ever have coached. He's one of the of any level, he's one of the very, very best. And so, and I know Louisville fans, I mean, they want to win. And they're like Memphis fans, and they want to win now. And they have a good team to win now. But I think David's going to do a great job. I think he's a really good basketball mind. He's been around, and he's been around great coaches. I would think anyone would be making a mistake to undersell him. I think he's going to be really good this year. I think their team's going to be good. Whether what happens for him after this year, whether the president and AD decide, that's going to be their deal. But I think he's going to make it in a position. He's going to put the AD and whoever the new AD and the president is, because they're going to get to the tournament and they're possibly go to the Sweet 16 and beyond because they got that type of team. And now you've made them have to make a decision.
So how you look forward playing Louisville? Are you happy Pitino ain't there to challenge, or are you like the challenge of Pitino?
Well, I mean, I don't play. Coach Pitino is one of the greatest ever, but David Padgett's going to do a great job. He's going to do an excellent job with them. But the bottom line is, regardless of Coach Pitino's there or not, they've got great players. They've got a lot of them too.
Yeah, I've kind of an outside the box kind of thought here or question, but you are known for your positivity, being very positive. In an increasingly negative world, do you find that difficult to remain positive?
I've always
I mean, if
been
you just look
positive.
even outside.
No, I'm
your-
a really positive guy, but there's a lot of negativity, and there's a lot of negativity in social media. There's a lot of negativity of kind of looking at the glasses half empty. I'm always looking at the glasses overflowing. I try to be also direct and honest too, not sugarcoat stuff. So I try to live in reality as well. But you know, life is just too short to be anything other than positive anyway. And I don't do well. Like, I'm not as good of a coach when I'm negative or down, or I'm got self-pity or whatever. I'm just, I kind of, when there's negative Nellies, I'm just not a good. I like the positive Pauls.
Yeah.
I just thrive better with that. It's energy givers. And negative Nellies drag you down. Positive Pauls lift you up.
Yeah, 'cause